What's up, guys? Faruqi Bros here. Shiraz, Zayan, Umar, and Samir back with another quick video. Today we're going to be reacting to Robert Richardson, who was the original cinematographer for The Batman. And he recently came on the HappySadConfused Podcast. I'll leave a link to the podcast in the description so you can hear the whole interview. But basically, he came on and discussed a bunch of different movies, but one of the movies where they keyed in on was the unmade Batman movie and kind of what he was planning, what Ben Affleck was planning for that film. And in the end, a lot of details did end up coming out, comparing the film to things like Batman Arkham Asylum, the video game, and the corresponding comic book. Well, there's not exactly the same, but similar resemblances. And the film itself would have taken place in Arkham after the events of Justice League, assuming Justice League, the original cut, of course. And basically, obviously the details are unknown, but we know Deathstroke was the primary antagonist that Batman would face off of, who is like an equal to him in terms of intellect and in strength. And Batman would have met a lot of his rogues gallery of that universe. In the end, of course, we don't know the full story, but from what Ben Affleck himself has said in the media, he has said that he couldn't crack the script, and the script was the primary issue, and if he couldn't get a good enough script, he would not make the movie. In this sense, the script was actually written by himself, Jeff Johns, and Chris Terrio. All three of them wrote the script together, but in the end, Ben Affleck felt like he didn't want to make the movie off this script. We didn't know what the situation was, but in the end of the day, we know what his situation is now. He left the director role in 2017. He left the role of Batman itself soon after that. And now we're in a situation where that same title, the Batman, is now being held by Robert Pattinson, and Matt Reeves was the one directing it. So a lot has changed since then. But just like when we talked about Christopher McQuarrie and his Superman pitch that got denied, in this case it's something like that, where it's a Batman movie. We know what was going to happen, but at the end of the day, whatever the internal background things were, Ben Affleck ended up leaving himself, right? So I'll give it to Zion. He'll start off the chain and let me know, what do you think about this script? What are your thoughts on the movie itself, and just your general outlook? All right, so yeah, when we first heard about like Ben Affleck's script and we knew it was going to be him against Deathstroke, originally I thought it was going to be more of a like Arkham Origins, where it was more of a basic story and more of like a geared towards an action film of him facing off against like an equal fighter in Deathstroke. You know, of course, with some elements, maybe him exposing his secret or obviously knowing who Bruce Wayne is. But after reading this, like, wow, we missed out on something that could have been insane. I've said on Twitter, I've said on previous podcasts that I would love a Batman film where they really broke the character down, kind of like BVS, but in more of a personal way, in Batman's own world, and really delved into his psyche more. And from the description, you can tell that this would have been something so crazy as he went deeper and deeper through Arkham Asylum, going past his old villains and all the people he faced. You can really tell that they would have probably had a lot of moments where they showed what was going on in his mind, and him breaking down as he goes farther and farther. And obviously Deathstroke as the main like pioneer of this like of the plot. So it's definitely more intriguing than I thought it would be. I guess when Jay Oliver said that this was one of the best Batman scripts he ever read, I guess he was right, because from the information we know now, this seems like something that would have been just completely insane. I honestly wasn't expecting to be this dark, I guess. So the fact that we missed out on it, you know, now it actually hurts more.
I agree with a lot of what you said, Jan. Also, I feel like someone on Twitter, I think it was Pete from Batman on. Shout out to Pete from Batman on Film. I think it's Pete. I think that's his name.
Yep.
He said that like the DCU could be like summarized in one sentence, and that's what could have been. There's a lot of what could have been. It's like every few weeks we find out about something that could have happened that was better, or like something along those lines. And this is no different than that, where, you know, although Matt Reeves will do a great job, hopefully, like, he'll do great, but it's like a constant feeling for DCU fans that, you know, of the past, and how Like even with this script, like this script is everything a Batman fan wants. Like, and you could hear it from what Zion said, because he's the, to use Traw's dumb words, the resident Batman fan. Um, but but yeah, like it's everything a Batman fan wants. Like, and the fact that it didn't happen, I'm sure there's like a lot of behind the scenes that took place and on why it didn't happen. But specifically about the script itself, honestly, it's very similar to what Matt Reeves wants to do. Like it's an Arkham Asylum storyline with Deathstroke as a villain, multiple villains showing up. Obviously, it's more linked to the universe where, you know, Lex sent him at the end of Justice League, but Lex sent Deathstroke at the end of Justice League. But like even just the psychological aspect that Matt Reeves really wanted to dive into, like the parts of Batman that were kind of like like sane and what parts weren't, and all those things, like you know, it could have been something special. And I think it was Shraz that said on our private chat that the main villain was just Deathstroke instead of Joker. But I also think that, like, one of the things I would say, like, you could have actually, what would have made the script kind of even more sick is if you had the Joker as the main, somehow the main villain. Like, Lex could have told Joker that, yo, go get this guy, go get him. And that would, in my opinion, that would have been even crazier, because Joker's more of a psychological nemesis, while Deathstroke is more of a physical, like, challenge. If you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess, like, yeah, what could have been.
It's a good way to put it up. Samir, what do you think?
I'm not gonna lie, I did not like the Arkham Asylum game that much. So,
What the ass?
Samir, you're fired.
so like, I wouldn't mind seeing this movie, but I would rather see Matt Reeves and Robert Pattinson interpretation.
All right, we're going to war. That's what happened.
That's one of the things. Like, it actually depends. Like, you know, who you think the better director is first and foremost. So, do you think Matt Reeves is the better director? Do you think Ben Affleck's the better director? Ben Affleck directed movies like Gone Girl and The Town and stuff like that. Matt Reeves directed the Planet of the Apes movies. So it's like you gotta figure out what style, because what director's at the helm makes a big difference. So it really is up to preference at that point. Then you see which Batman you like more. We never even saw Robert Pattinson as Batman, so there's no way to tell what he's going to be, good or bad. But we did see Ben Affleck 3 times as Batman.
At his highest and his worst.
Yeah, highs and lows. We saw all like levels of his Batman. But we saw, this is very important to see, like, assumingly Ben Affleck was already checked out when Justice League came out. He didn't want to be Batman anymore. You can tell when Joss Whedon's reshoots were coming on. I think Umar said this on previous podcasts. He was out of shape. He was phoning it in, you know, in the reshoots. So I think at that point he was already mentally out. So I think the chances of this movie, like, I know we're hearing about it now, like so many years later, but the chances of this movie coming out was slim in the beginning. I think the second the BVS critics score came out and we saw how much people didn't like that movie, I think right away Ben Affleck got disheartened. And then, remember, before Justice League came out, Ben Affleck said that he's out as Batman. Like, he doesn't want to be, he's out as the Batman director. So he said that publicly. And then they were looking for someone who can come in and do the same script that Jeff Johns and Chris Terrio wrote, which would star Ben Affleck. And when then Matt Reeves came, assumingly Matt Reeves also didn't like the script, because remember, assumingly Ben Affleck also didn't like the script either. So multiple people read the script and didn't like it. And then Matt Reeves said, I'm going in a different direction. And assumingly, because this is an interesting story, Matt Reeves actually signed on as the director, then he left as the director, and then he came back as the director. All within a span of 1 month. And I think if you go behind the scenes, my guess is that when he first signed on, he signed on as the director to direct that script of the Batman movie. And then
nuts.
And then something must have happened. Maybe Ben Affleck said, I'm out of here, and then he left too. Until WB told him again that, okay, come back, and it's your vision now. Like, do whatever you got to do. And then he came back. That's my guess what happened. You know, like remember the first interview they did with him, he said himself that, oh yeah, Ben Affleck's gonna be Batman in my movie. So something must have changed in the middle.
Yeah, and Ben Affleck's like he's been ape on the ground for.
Yeah. And yeah, and Comic-Con's down to right now that he would have been an ape on the ground for Matt Reeves. So apparently there was, unless it was all lies from the beginning, there must have been some kind of connection. But the second Joss Whedon's reshoot started, Ben Affleck dipped. It was done for him. And then after that, it was just them waiting for the new Batman to get cast, and then he got out. So really, like Umar said, what could have been. But in this sense, there's so much behind the scenes drama connected to Zack Snyder's vision, and Ben Affleck was a part of that it was over. I mean, really. Like we said, it was just going to be Ben Affleck was going to be in BVS, cameo in Suicide Squad, Justice League 1, then the Batman, and then Justice League 2 he would die. And that was it. That was his character arc. Instead, right now, his character arc just kind of ended at Justice League 1. You know, he said 6 chairs. I think that was his last line. I'm not sure. And then now we're doing a reboot. From my understanding, I really doubt, I'd be shocked, absolutely shocked that they say the Matt Reeves Batman movies are a prequel.
I hope it's not.
To BVS, I'd be shocked. I really think it's going to be its own thing now, but we never know. Any last thoughts, anyone, on what's going on? Like, what do you prefer, Umar, Zion? Anything you want to get in?
Arkham Asylum, I'm on the complete opposite of Samir. Arkham Asylum is by far the best Batman game we've ever had. Just the claustrophobia and the you can feel the exhaustion from Bruce Wayne and his mentality by the end of it, and how like he gets so pulled down mentally. And I feel like if they could have done that in a film form with Ben Affleck and how he acted in BVS, you can get an idea of how it would have been. I think we missed out on something insane.
Yeah, I think that poeticness of it. You know, he told Lex Luthor that, oh yeah, you know, I still have friends at Arkham Asylum and they're expecting you. And then one movie later, Lex Luthor tells Deathstroke that go get Batman and put him in Arkham, so to make him feel that same like fear. Because Arkham is actually a scary place. Even the villains are scared of it. So putting Batman there and torturing him psychologically, that would have been a sick film, and I think Ben Affleck would have pulled it off, especially if he was in shape and mentally ready to go. Obviously in Justice League he was not ready to go. So if you're thinking Justice League Batman and then putting him into that movie, then obviously it wouldn't work. But if you're thinking BVS Batman, then it makes sense.
We don't want to see BVS Batman.
Who's fired again?
Who's we?
You're double fired.
Overall, what are your thoughts on this new story? You can hear Robert Richardson's whole podcast with people, Happy Sad Confused Podcast. I'll put the link in the description so you guys can listen to the whole interview. It's pretty interesting. And specifically about Batman, we just covered what they talked about. I think it would have been a pretty solid movie, but again, like Umar said, the theme of the DCEU is what could have been, and in this case, what wasn't. And regardless, I think we're excited for Matt Reeves' Batman, but give your thoughts in the comments. What do you think about this version of the Batman movie? Would you have liked to seen it, or are you on Samir's level and you think that, you know what, we're better off with the reboot Batman? So let us know. From myself, from Zayan, from Umar, and from Samir, this is the Faruqi Bros. We'll see you next time. Peace out.